I'm not gonna lie. When certain people get to a certain level of fame, I don't know why, but you start to hear little about certain people sometimes. And I don't know how many people are really exempt from it. Because if you really think about most of your top celebrities, black celebrities, rappers, I feel like the ones that are at the top for a long time, I feel like I've heard a rumor damn near about all. We be real with ourselves. It was kind of abnormal when he got with Beyonce. Like, she was pretty young when he got with her. There's rumors that he was messing with Foxy Brown when she was pretty young.
Lord Jamar has built a reputation for speaking his mind without holding back. Over the years, he has become known as someone who isn't afraid to share opinions that many people would rather keep to themselves. Whether the conversation is about hip-hop, the music business, or some of the biggest celebrities in entertainment, he usually jumps right into the topic instead of trying to make everyone happy. That outspoken style has made him one of the most talked-about voices whenever a new debate starts. This time, Lord Jamar turned his attention to the long-running online speculation about Beyoncé's age. He brought up the rumors that have circulated for years about her birth year and the timeline of certain events in her early career. Those claims have been discussed by people online for a long time, even though they have never been confirmed, and the conversation keeps popping up whenever her past is mentioned. During an interview on The Art of Dialogue, Lord Jamar also talked about the reported age difference between Beyoncé and Jay-Z when their relationship first became public. He questioned the timeline that has often been discussed online, saying that Beyoncé was believed to be around 18 or possibly younger when they first got together, while Jay-Z was around 30. His comments quickly caught attention and added even more discussion to an already controversial topic. He connected the discussion to a much bigger point about the music industry, arguing that people should pay attention to how established stars and younger artists were treated during that time. In his view, conversations about influence, experience, and the balance of power in the industry deserve a closer look, especially when people revisit stories from years ago. As the interview continued, Lord Jamar brought up one of the internet's longest-running rumors about Beyoncé. He referenced the online claim that her birth year was actually 1974 instead of 1981, a theory that has circulated for years but has never been verified. Reacting to that speculation, he said, "Oh, wait a minute, now it all makes sense." That remark immediately grabbed attention and sparked even more debate online. According to the theory he was discussing, if those online claims were true,
when Beyonce was 3, I took her to the Triumph tour with Michael Jackson and his brothers. And my friend said, well, if you go to this certain area at the Astrodome, he's going to come out that way. So I had her out there. It was a group of about 20 people. He walks over, tries to grab her, and she loved him so much. She was just overwhelmed, as kids do, and she just started crying. And,
then the timeline many people have questioned would look very different. Under that unverified version of events, Beyoncé would have been in her mid-20s when she and Jay-Z officially became a couple in the early 2000s, rather than much younger. It's important to note that this remains internet speculation and has not been supported by confirmed evidence, but the comments still got plenty of people talking. Looking at all the rumors floating around online, some people have argued that this theory is the only explanation that seems to fit the story they believe. Others completely reject it and say there's no solid evidence behind any of it. That's exactly why this topic has stayed so controversial for so many years, with people constantly debating the same claims over and over. For years, social media users and gossip forums have pointed to old interviews, TV appearances, and magazine articles, arguing that Beyoncé seemed unusually mature early in her career. Supporters of the age theory have used those moments to push the idea that she may have been older than the public believed. However, those claims have never been confirmed, and there is no verified evidence showing that her publicly reported age is incorrect. Even so, the speculation keeps resurfacing whenever people revisit her early career, keeping the debate alive. The theory goes on to suggest that, if the online rumors were somehow true, then many of those past conversations about her maturity would be viewed differently. Instead of describing someone as unusually mature for her age, supporters of the theory argue that she would simply have been acting like an adult. Again, that's only part of the online speculation and should not be treated as established fact. The conversation became even more intense when internet users began sharing screenshots and posts claiming that old records supported a different timeline. Some people pointed to what they described as archived documents and said they backed up the rumors. However, none of those materials have been independently verified as authentic, and the claims remain widely disputed. Even so, their circulation online added another layer to an already heated discussion and kept people talking. Of course, plenty of people have pushed back against these rumors, pointing out that creating convincing-looking images or documents has been possible for decades. Many critics of the theory argue that screenshots and supposed records shared online shouldn't automatically be treated as proof. They also note that public records have been referenced by journalists over the years that support Beyoncé's widely reported birth year. Because of that, many people believe the online claims simply don't hold up under closer examination. Even so, supporters of the theory aren't convinced. They continue to argue that there are details they believe don't line up, leading them to keep searching for anything they think supports their version of the timeline. That's one of the reasons this debate refuses to disappear, with both sides pointing to completely different pieces of information while reaching very different conclusions. Another claim that often resurfaces involves old stories about Beyoncé attending a Michael Jackson concert during the 1980s. People discussing the theory have suggested that, based on how they interpret those memories and photos, she appeared older than the age that has commonly been reported. From there, they speculate about what that could mean for the overall timeline. However, these interpretations are subjective and have never been verified as evidence of a different birth year. The discussion picked up even more after an old video featuring Knowles began circulating online. In the clip, people have debated how to interpret her comments about taking Beyoncé to a Michael Jackson tour at a young age. Some internet users have tried to calculate a different birth year based on that story, while others argue the comments could simply be misremembered or taken out of context. As a result, the clip has become another heavily debated piece of online speculation rather than confirmed evidence, and people continue to interpret it in very different ways. The debate didn't stop there. As older clips continued circulating online, some viewers argued that Beyoncé appeared older than the age mentioned in the stories being discussed. Others completely disagreed, saying it's impossible to accurately estimate someone's age from old videos or photographs alone. That's why those clips continue to spark arguments every time they resurface.
LA had a girls group. I bet you don't know who his lead singer was.
Yeah.
Pink. She's the exact same age as Beyonce, and there used to be this battle which group was better. You had Usher, he was the same age. They were all 14 and 15 years old, living in.
With people reaching very different conclusions from the exact same footage. Another moment that frequently gets brought into the conversation involves Beyoncé's father, Matthew Knowles. During an interview on The Breakfast Club, he made comments comparing Destiny's Child's era with other artists who were coming up around the same time. Some internet users later focused on how he referenced the ages of performers like Pink and Usher, arguing that his remarks didn't perfectly match Beyoncé's publicly reported birth year. Those comments quickly fueled more online speculation, with some people wondering whether the timeline simply became mixed up during the interview, while others treated it as another piece of a much larger theory. In reality, off-the-cuff interviews can contain mistakes, and a confusing statement doesn't necessarily confirm any broader claims. Even so, the discussion spread rapidly across social media. Supporters of the theory have also argued that adjusting ages was not uncommon in the entertainment industry during past decades, although that claim varies from case to case and should not be treated as evidence about any specific person. Lord Jamar referenced that broader idea while discussing the rumors, adding another layer to an online debate that has continued for years without verified proof supporting the central claims. Lord Jamar also pointed to a broader conversation about age in the entertainment business. For years, people have claimed that some performers adjusted details like their age or background to better fit a certain image or marketing strategy. There have been several well-known examples of celebrities whose publicly reported ages were later questioned or corrected, which is one reason these kinds of discussions continue to attract so much attention. Supporters of that argument often mention public stories involving stars like Nicki Minaj, Rebel Wilson, and others whose reported ages became the subject of media coverage at different points in their careers. They also point to comments from actors such as Gabrielle Union, who has spoken publicly about the pressure some women in entertainment have faced regarding age and casting. Even so, Those situations involve different people and different circumstances, so they don't automatically prove anything about anyone else. Lord Jamar then shifted back to Beyonce by referencing an older comment from Gabrielle Union. In a past interview, Gabrielle said, "Beyonce and I have been friends since we were teenagers." That quote has been shared repeatedly by people discussing the online age theory. Some have tried to compare the publicly reported birth years and argue that the timeline doesn't line up, while others believe the remark was simply a casual way of describing a long friendship rather than a precise statement about their ages at the time. As a result, that single quote has become another talking point in a debate that has lasted for years. Supporters of the theory see it as another question worth asking, while critics argue that it's far too vague to be treated as evidence. Like many other claims surrounding this topic, it remains a matter of online speculation rather than confirmed fact. Some people have also pointed out that Gabrielle Union has never publicly addressed the way that old quote has been interpreted online. Supporters of the theory see her silence as noteworthy, while others argue that celebrities often choose not to respond to every rumor or viral discussion. Without a direct statement from her, it's impossible to know whether the quote has been misunderstood or simply taken out of context. So the debate continues. Another name that has been brought into the conversation is Jaguar Wright. She has claimed that she once saw a Destiny's Child era profile featuring a family photo labeled with a specific year. According to her account, the child in the picture appeared older than she would have expected based on the reported timeline. However, that claim has not been independently verified, and many people have questioned whether the photo or its labeling can be confirmed. At this point, the story relies largely on personal recollections and online discussions, rather than verified evidence. Until supporting documentation or reliable sources emerge, these claims remain unconfirmed and continue to be debated across social media and entertainment forums. Jaguar Wright has continued to stand by her account, saying she believes the magazine she described really existed, even though many people have been unable to locate or verify it. Some supporters of the online theory have suggested that older materials disappeared over time, while critics argue there's no reliable evidence that such a publication ever contained the details being claimed. As a result, that story remains unverified and heavily debated. Another rumor that has circulated online involves a person who claimed to have previously worked around the music industry. According to that account, they believed they had seen information suggesting a different birth year for Beyonce while at a record label. However, no independent evidence has confirmed that story, and it remains based entirely on an anonymous claim rather than verifiable documentation. Even so, it has continued to spread across social media whenever this topic comes up. From there, the speculation became even more dramatic, with internet rumors expanding into claims about Beyoncé's family history. Those stories have been repeated in various online spaces over the years, but they have never been supported by credible evidence or confirmed by the people involved. Because of that, they should be viewed as unverified gossip rather than established fact. The same goes for claims involving extended family members and private conversations that have been shared online. These stories rely on second-hand accounts and anonymous sources, making them impossible to verify. While they have fueled curiosity and kept the rumors alive, there is no confirmed evidence supporting those allegations, and they remain part of long-running internet speculation rather than documented reality. As more people started digging through old interviews, another detail kept getting brought up over and over. Internet users began comparing comments made across different years, looking for anything they believed didn't perfectly match the public timeline. Some pointed to old TV appearances, while others focused on magazine features and archived articles, arguing that small differences deserved a closer look. On the other hand, many people pushed back, saying that inconsistent memories, editing mistakes, or reporting errors are common and shouldn't be treated as proof of a larger claim.
Beyonce was born in 1981. I don't know how that picture of her standing up, almost hip high to her mother, happened. Like I said, it was the largest infant I ever seen in my life. And that was in Vibe magazine.
Damn, somebody.
I'm like, pictures from the family, 1981. But they saying she was born in 81. Why are they saying she was born in 81 and she's 4 years old?
Lord Jamar's comments gave those online discussions fresh attention because he wasn't presenting the topic as something brand new. Instead, he was talking about rumors that have circulated for years, adding his own perspective to a debate that already had countless videos, forum posts, and social media threads attached to it. His remarks encouraged people to revisit old clips and compare them with more recent interviews, even though none of those comparisons have produced verified evidence that changes the publicly reported timeline. At the same time, plenty of fans have defended Beyonce, arguing that internet theories often grow far beyond the available facts. They say that once a rumor gains momentum, almost every old interview or photograph gets viewed through that same lens, making ordinary moments seem far more significant than they really are. That split in opinion is exactly what makes the discussion so polarizing, with one side seeing unanswered questions while the other sees ordinary inconsistencies that naturally happen over a long career. One point that keeps resurfacing is how quickly online theories can take on a life of their own. A single interview clip gets shared, someone connects it to an old article, another person adds a years-old photo, and before long, people are treating a collection of unrelated moments like pieces of one giant puzzle. Supporters of the theory believe those patterns are too consistent to ignore, while skeptics argue that connecting separate events doesn't automatically create a factual timeline. Lord Jamar's interview added another layer because he wasn't the first public figure to question details that fans have debated for years. Instead of avoiding the subject, he openly discussed why he thought some parts of the story deserved another look. His willingness to speak on such a controversial topic immediately caught people's attention, especially because he has built a reputation for saying exactly what he thinks, rather than staying silent. Still, it's worth separating verified information from internet speculation. Many of the claims circulating online rely on anonymous sources, personal opinions, or interpretations of old interviews rather than independently confirmed evidence. That's why the discussion remains divided, with some people convinced there are unanswered questions and others believing the rumors have grown far beyond what the available facts actually support. The conversation then shifted from Beyoncé's reported age to something even bigger. Instead of focusing only on dates and timelines, people began asking whether the music industry has always played a role in shaping public images. That broader question opened up an entirely different discussion about branding, celebrity narratives, and how carefully managed an artist's public story can become over the course of a long career. That bigger conversation led people to revisit stories from other artists who have spoken about image management in the entertainment business. Over the years, several performers have described how record labels and management teams carefully planned everything from fashion and interviews to marketing strategies and public perception. Because of that, some viewers believe it's reasonable to ask questions whenever long-running rumors resurface, while others argue that careful branding doesn't automatically mean personal details were changed. Lord Jamar leaned into that broader idea by suggesting that the music industry has always been built on creating compelling public images. According to his perspective, fans often see only the polished version of an artist's story, while many decisions happen behind the scenes. Whether people agree with him or not, his comments encouraged viewers to think about how much of a celebrity's public narrative is carefully managed versus how much reflects everyday reality. At the same time, critics of the age theory point out that extraordinary claims require strong evidence. They argue that, after decades in the spotlight, a claim of this size would likely need clear, independently verified documentation rather than a collection of old interviews, personal recollections, or social media posts. That's why they remain unconvinced, despite the many theories that continue to circulate online. Even with those opposing views, one thing stands out. People continue to examine old footage, archived articles, and past interviews from every possible angle, hoping to find something everyone else may have missed. Whether those searches uncover meaningful information or simply add another layer of interpretation depends entirely on the quality of the evidence, which is why the discussion keeps evolving as more old material gets rediscovered. While all of that was unfolding, another question started popping up in comment sections. Some people wondered why these rumors continue to resurface after so many years, if there has never been any confirmed evidence behind them. Others answered that once a celebrity reaches Beyoncé's level of fame, almost every part of their life becomes the subject of endless theories, with old stories getting recycled every few years for a new audience. Supporters of the age theory argue that the discussion isn't based on one single claim, but on what they see as a series of coincidences. They point to interviews, public appearances, and comments made over different periods, believing those moments deserve a second look when viewed together. Skeptics, however, say that collecting unrelated events into one narrative can create patterns that seem convincing without actually proving anything. They maintain that speculation should not be confused with verified facts. Another reason the topic refuses to disappear is because people continue to revisit archived media from the early days of Destiny's Child. Fans have gone through old television segments, newspaper articles, promotional materials, and magazine interviews, hoping to spot details that may have been overlooked. In many cases, though, different sources simply repeat the same publicly available information, leaving people to draw their own conclusions about what they believe. Even with all those competing opinions, Lord Jamar's interview accomplished one thing. It reminded people that long-running celebrity rumors rarely disappear completely. Instead, they tend to return whenever someone with a large platform revisits the subject, giving viewers another reason to compare old stories with newer ones as they continue piecing together their own interpretation of the timeline. Another angle people have discussed is how quickly assumptions can become accepted as fact when the same claims are repeated over and over. In the age of social media, one viral post often leads to dozens of reaction videos, blog articles, and forum threads, with each version adding another layer to the story. Before long, many viewers forget where the original claim even came from, making it much harder to separate verified information from online speculation. Lord Jamar's comments fit right into that ongoing discussion because he questioned details that many people had already been debating for years. Instead of introducing brand new evidence, he revisited existing rumors and gave his own take on why some people believe the timeline deserves another look. His interview encouraged viewers to revisit old interviews and compare different accounts for themselves, while others felt it simply revived theories that had already been examined countless times. Meanwhile, Beyoncé's supporters argue that her decades-long career has naturally produced thousands of interviews, performances, and public appearances. With that much material available, they say it's almost inevitable that a few dates, memories, or casual remarks won't line up perfectly. In their view, small inconsistencies are common over a career spanning many years and don't necessarily point to a hidden story behind the scenes. What makes the discussion interesting is that both sides often look at the exact same clips but come away with completely different conclusions. One group sees unanswered questions that deserve more investigation, while the other sees ordinary moments being interpreted through the lens of an already popular theory. That contrast has become a defining part of the entire conversation as people continue examining old interviews, photos, and archived media from every possible angle. One thing almost everyone agrees on is that Lord Jamar knew this topic would get people talking. By bringing up one of the internet's longest-running celebrity rumors, he reopened a discussion that has been circulating for years. Some viewers appreciated that he asked difficult questions, while others felt he was giving fresh attention to claims that still lack verified evidence. What's interesting is that neither side seems willing to back down. Supporters of the theory continue searching for older interviews, archived photos, and forgotten media, believing the answers are hidden somewhere in the past. Meanwhile, critics argue that after all these years, no independently confirmed evidence has surfaced to support the central claims, making the publicly reported timeline the most reliable version currently available. Even with those opposing viewpoints, people are still waiting to see whether anyone directly connected to the story will ever respond to the latest wave of speculation or simply continue letting the rumors speak for themselves. At the end of the day, nobody outside the people directly involved knows the full story. There are plenty of rumors, countless online theories, and years of speculation, but much of what's been discussed remains unverified. Lord Jamar's comments simply brought fresh attention to a debate that has been circulating for a long time, encouraging people to revisit old interviews, timelines, and public statements from a different perspective. Some people believe the publicly reported timeline is accurate, while others think there are still unanswered questions worth discussing. From old records shared online to comments made in past interviews by people connected to the story, there is no shortage of material that fans continue to analyze. However, none of those claims have been independently confirmed as proof that Beyoncé's reported birth year is incorrect. leaving the discussion firmly in the realm of speculation. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Do you believe Beyoncé's publicly reported birth year is accurate? Or do you think the internet theories raise questions worth talking about? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the discussion respectful. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves celebrity stories and music industry discussions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.